name is Jess and Carley, and this is my second grade class. Each person is as different as can be. They come from different cultures, neighborhoods, traditions, and communities. Together, we form an eclectic, trustworthy, safe, and busy community. If COVID has taught us anything, it is that authentic connection with each other is more important than we ever thought. A strong community in our classroom is integral to engage, inspire, and teach. I used to think that my classroom community was strong, but when we were all separated in March 2020 by miles and screens, and attending class became seemingly optional for many, I realized that I had overestimated the resilience of the community backbone we had built. When students returned to my classroom in 2020, it was hybrid, and I was determined to change how students felt about community. But how? I thought about my students and what they individually bring to each room they step into. I began to reimagine what it would take to form this sustainable, solid connection we all yearn for. I realized that to achieve a lasting transformation, my students needed to be the leaders. I began the year by sending out a simple form, asking parents and students about their families. From this, I learned about what was important to them about their outside communities. I strived to build a classroom where each part of what makes them unique was excitedly welcomed every day, in person or virtually. Everyone would feel honored and seen, a vital ingredient to a true community. Soon after, I interviewed students individually. What is important for you to share and teach? How can we know you better? What roles do you want to play in our classroom? My classroom is a place for children to learn and teach about friendship, community, and how to be a good citizen. Students feel loved and nurtured, not just by adults, but by each other. We strive to grow, to lean into differences, to build a stronger community that can't be broken by a pandemic. And I know that by giving my curious, adventurous leaders the task of teaching and guiding each other, we could create a supportive, equitable, and empathetic society together. My first assignment was for students to bring in 3 important objects to share. Together, they decided on the structure of these presentations and chose their own guidelines to support each other in making these successful and feel safe. Each presented these artifacts while classmates practiced empathy by asking questions about pristine Pokemon cards or tattered but very cherished stuffies. This set the stage for attentive listening, never yucking someone else's yum, and the expectation that everyone participates through inquiry and connections. As the year progressed, many students partnered with other stakeholders to create personal presentations about their own family, cultures, and religious traditions. These ranged from videos to PowerPoints to favorite read-alouds to a simple dry erase drawing on my board. Then students led activities like making Sedekah jars to celebrate Eid or teaching each other to play dreidel. Each presenter vulnerably shared part of their hearts and strengthened the bonds between themselves and their classmates. Others worked with their grown-ups at home to bake or cook traditional foods to bring in and share. Bite by bite, students learned more about their classmates and the world beyond our walls. Each month, together, we looked at the schedule to pick times for community celebrations. Students would sign up for 45-minute slots, and together we would reach out to their grown-ups to see if they could join or support. But it was always my students who led the way. Over the next week or two, the students would plan their presentations, usually with the support of guardians or classmates who were eager to volunteer to hold a book, pass out tools for a craft, or explain a game, thereby extending the bond these students had through leadership and team opportunities. Our culture of connection took off through celebrations in 2020 and hasn't slowed down. In the first trimester of this year, my students have helped lead over 20 celebrations, from Diwali to Trans Celebration Week to Nigerian Independence Day. Many of these were co-led with a family member. By empowering students and families to teach each other about what they know and love, we created an opportunity to bond through vulnerability. By watching these presentations, students not only related to the presenters, but also built respect for each other and ultimately themselves. This mutual exchange built an empathy and pride that would be impossible to teach through simple morning lessons or a teacher-led lesson. So what is the ultimate impact, and does it last? To answer that, I want to finish with an excerpt from a letter I received from a Muslim mother at the end of last year. She wrote, "I have realized more and more how much sadness and trauma I carried from my own school days, from being bullied and harmed, and the way my teachers allowed that to happen. The way I have seen you take such a thoughtful and compassionate approach to all the kids, and the incredible amount of intentional inclusivity you brought to the classroom and curriculum truly has left me overwhelmed with gratitude, both for my child and for myself. I consider teachers to be healers, and I have felt healed this year through your teaching of my child." I won't lie, this was tough and sometimes uncomfortable transformation for all of us. I had to be vulnerable, and so did my students. As teachers, we are leaders of classrooms, crafters of lesson plans, graders of homework, but our authority and position of power doesn't create, inspire, or maintain community. The environment we provide for our students and their families to be vulnerable, support one another, and grow through authentic connection is what makes for a lasting and resilient community, and one that I'm extremely proud to be a member of. Thank you.